Saiyan alive, as I always have been.
What's going on, Dragon Ball Z fans? Welcome back. My name is UnrealEntGaming. I'm joined here today by the FatalBrotherHood and FatalBrotherHood, and today we're going to be discussing about the possible theories of the upcoming 2016/2017 Dragon Ball Z movie, possibly entitled Battle of Gods 3. Of course, now a lot of people might actually linger on the word of Battle of Gods 3. Of course, I'm going to let my friend Paul explain why we're calling this Battle of Gods 3, because the title itself actually holds a lot of significance behind the name. And Paul, why don't you explain why we're calling this Battle of Gods 3, because some people actually might get it confused between, you know, the name and how it correlates with the movie. So
the way Dragon Ball Z works is with the sagas. You have the Saiyan saga, the Cell saga, Android saga, or the Buu saga. But with this, we have movies. And even though it's called Revival of F for Dragon Ball Z Revival of F, it's actually still Battle of Gods too, because they're battling with God power. It's all revolving around the gods. So this is the God saga, but in movies. That's why we're calling it Battle of Gods 3, because it's still the third part of the saga. So,
now, speaking of the third part, now as we're going to discuss, this is no confirmation. This is nothing that's been leaked. These are just opinions and theories and our personal intake on what may happen in the possible third movie, because we all know at this point that, you know, with the success of Revival of F, with the tremendous amount of support by so many fans and whatnot, we're all pretty sure at this point they're not going to end it off with Revival of F, because some people are saying that yes, Revival of F is going to be the be-all end-all movie, just because Akira Toriyama wanted to finish off Dragon Ball Z originally with Frieza, so what better way with him, you know, finishing everything off by having Frieza be introduced as the final villain and stuff like that. But what if somehow in a third film, possibly 2016-2017, we have a rematch? We have a rematch with Beerus, although this time he does not battle Goku, he battles Vegeta. Now, I want to get like your personal intakes on if this would work. Now, with these new Super Saiyan God transformations featured in Revival of F, do you guys think if they were to make a third film featuring, you know, Goku and Vegeta, if anything in particular having Vegeta only battle Beerus at 100%, do you think a movie like that would work? And if so, why would, you know, Beerus even challenge these two once again as a story complex? Because we all know from the first story arc, Beerus challenged Goku simply because he was, you know, he was foreseeing these prophecies in his dream about the Super Saiyan God, and all he was looking for was a challenger, a competitor, and an opponent who was pretty much worthy of his level, and he wasn't able to find that in Goku after beating him. So, do you think this time it would make sense for him to do it again, or do you think the story would be very, very repugnant? Because, I mean, we're going based off of the same formula of Battle of Gods.
well, with the whole thing, like the fact that I like to look at this fact. Remember how Beerus wanted to fight Frieza in Revival of F? He wanted to fight Frieza. What better person to fight if you can't fight Frieza than the person who beats him, or at least someone like on his level? And then another thing to put down on the table here is that in the first Battle of Gods movie, even though Bills used like 70% of his power, that was back then. They've gone through training, and like Frieza, these two gods can all kind of hold their own against Beerus. What does that mean? If you're stronger than a god, what's his status anymore?
How do you know that they're stronger than Beerus?
If you can potentially reach him, what does that make him? You're stronger than a god.
But
this
how
is
do
really,
we know?
they're gonna bench Beerus. Yeah, that is fucked up too. It's like Beerus is so cool, but now you're gonna, if you beat him, like, what's the point of him being the god of destruction anymore?
And remember, they beat him at 70%, and technically Goku was at 70% because they didn't unlock the rest of their form.
Well, actually, no. I beg to differ. Goku maxed out. He wasn't able to go.
But he didn't really master the form.
Well,
he
no,
didn't have
didn't
true
master.
god mode.
That's like comparing the first time Goku went Super Saiyan to fight maxed out Frieza to when Goku was in Super Saiyan fighting Cell. Well, same Super Saiyan status, but there's a huge difference in power.
Now, in terms of power, how do we know that 100% of Beerus' power is all that he has? We don't know that. I mean, we don't know if he can go further and beyond of that. Remember, he's a deity. He's a real deity. Goku and Vegeta are mortals. You know, like, they have a life and death expectancy. You know, Beerus doesn't really... I mean, remember what he told Goku? He lived beyond Goku's wildest dreams. He was around for a long time. So, throughout his entire life, the only person that has ever given this guy a challenge was his master. So, if you're gonna put these new transformations into a third movie and have true Super Saiyan God Vegeta combat Beerus, how do we know that this new form would be more than enough to put him down for the count? When in fact, if you go watch Battle of Gods, Beerus wasn't even trying with Goku. I mean, think about it like this, right? Remember when he launched that Sphere of Destruction at Goku and Goku caught it? And then Beerus was just standing there, and all he did was, like, with his little finger, he unleashed more energy, and Goku absorbed it all, and he pretty much almost died, of course. But what if Beerus unleashed more of that? You know, what if he unleashed more energy waves towards that, you know, blast? That could have incinerated Goku for sure. So how do we know that if he battles Vegeta, he wouldn't do the same, except this time he knows what's on the line and just goes out to kill him? I mean, it would be a good story arc for Vegeta to say, you know what, Kakarot, you stay aside. It's time for me to take, you know, Beerus' place as the rightful God of Destruction. But I mean, for me, it'll almost seem like we're going back to Battle of Gods 1. And in the end, I really can't see Vegeta winning, man, or Goku. Both of them. There's no way. Whis pointed that out. He was like, your flaws is that one of you is too soft, one of you is too hard-headed, and you can't seem to direct your moves at your opponent because you're too predetermined to, you know, like land them.
One thing I really want them to establish on in this is, like, what makes Beerus a deity? Like, his race of people or whatever. What makes him so special that he could live for all these years?
Well, we don't really know Beerus' origin.
That's something they need to establish on, or else they can. That could, like, leads to why gods.
Do we really need that? We don't really need that.
The one thing that they did establish is that Beerus can be defeated in battle and he can die.
Explain how.
Because when Beerus kicks the bucket, do you want this position? And he can be defeated because he got knocked out with a karate chop.
Well, yes, that was due to a more supreme being than him. I mean, we're talking like Whis compared to Beerus we're talking infinite, like, power gap here. Like, this dude he did what Goku couldn't do throughout the entire film. You know,
I think Goku's getting there. Goku and Vegeta are getting there.
Yeah, if they keep fighting with Whis and end up, like, getting stronger just because of, like, learning, like, whatever fighting style he uses, even if he's just making it up as he goes along, if they at least see how fast his reaction timing is, they could probably beat him.
You're gonna find him, like, on the streets of Capsule Corp begging for change.
So, I mean, remember, but Beerus hibernates as well. His power level increases just as much. Without training. Imagine with training.
I think he'd have to do some serious training, because if he realizes that Goku and Vegeta are actually catching up to him...
And who's he gonna train with? It's gotta be Goku and Vegeta.
Whis!
Well, then who and Goku and Vegeta... They're all gonna train at the same time?
It's a possibility. Whis could take them all on. What, are you trying to tell me he can't?
But then this is still belittling, like, Beerus.
That's like okay, you guys are all three of you are on the same level.
Pretty much. I mean, Whis said it. Whis said it himself.
What's the point of him anymore? He's just
there at this point. Then
you guys should just kill him and take his spot.
Unless he has, like, another transformation, like, you know how Demigra and Xenoverse had, like, that demon form. Even though it might not be canon, imagine, like, if Beerus has his own other transformation. That's the only way I can see that, him, like, making a comeback.
Well, for Beerus to have another transformation, I can't see, because he looks very ominous already. Yeah. Even though, like, when you first look at him, it's like, oh, really? But then when he actually, like when his presence is known, it's like, oh shit, this shaved cat rabbit guy isn't really what we all cracked up to be. But all right, so can you guys really see Goku and Vegeta versus Beerus in this third film? Like, can you really see it happening?
Yeah, because that's what they're training for.
That's the problem. I mean, Beerus.
How do you know that's what they're training for, though?
What else would they be training for? To fight each other? Well, we've already discussed that. Like, apparently, I don't see any reason for them to keep fighting. But
yeah, they didn't even see Frieza really coming.
Anyway. So they're training. So Whis is pretty much. So what you're telling me is Whis is pretty much training those two to defeat his friend.
No, not even his friend. I think if he keeps saying he wants to replace him, I don't think he's that.
Well, I mean, remember, Beerus is kind of a nuisance. He does what he wants because he knows he can, and that's what happens when you have, you know, an assistant. Whis is Beerus' assistant. Like in that category, you know, like we never once heard Beerus say this is my master or whatever. He was just like that's my assistant, you know, like even Whis himself in the Revival of F manga never referred to himself as a god, which was very interesting because all he referred to himself as was a life form. So,
well, Whis is more humble in the sense.
Well, I mean, because he's subjugated by food, just like Majin Buu. You give him food.
No, that's Beerus. I'm saying Whis is more humble.
That's Whis. That's how Bulma gets in contact with Whis in Revival of F. She communicates with him through like a strawberry sundae.
Oh yeah.
and the Oracle fish goes back and says, yeah, so the strawberry sundae from Bulma, got back to me, and yeah, so then Whis is like, oh, strawberry sundae. But I mean, needless to say, for me, I would not want to see this. I'm sorry.
You don't want to see them beat up Beerus?
I don't want to see Goku versus, Goku and Vegeta versus Beerus. Been there, done that. The cat beat the Saiyans. What I would like to see is what we discussed earlier, is the original Super Saiyan God coming into play and challenging these quote-unquote fake Saiyans, because remember, I mean, that time frame in which he lived in till now is just, it's changed a lot. Planet Vegeta's dead, everybody on there died, and for him to come back and say, whoa, even though times have changed, you guys think that you still, represent the Saiyan family proud? Like, you don't know what it means to be a real god. I was there. I was the first one.
Well, wait, before with like what you're saying with the god thing, you know how back you said that the Beerus beat the Saiyans, that he's won, right? That's happened throughout the series, where Frieza killed and destroyed the entire Saiyan planet. Basically, he won there. The Saiyans came back and kicked his ass. Cell, he beat up Vegeta and destroyed his pride right there when he became perfect form, and then the Saiyans came back and kicked his ass. Majin Buu destroyed the planet and everybody that they cared about except for Goku, Vegeta, and they still came back. It seems like this is a pattern here, and I say they're coming back.
This is the only difference. Beerus is not a bad guy. He's not a full-blown bad guy. All those characters
they won't kill
mentioned,
him. They'll just like spar with him.
All those characters you mentioned were evil, maniacal characters that were out for their own agenda. Beerus is sort of like Goku, where he showed up just to fight the strongest. He pretty much won flawlessly, and he was like, oh, this is pretty much pointless. Now, I can see them fighting them again, only this time, I would much rather prefer to see a fusion, because what if Beerus fights both of them separately, and he beats the ever-so-living piss out of them both? To me, I think the only resort is to follow what Mr. Whis said, and that was to work together. And what better way to work together than to do a Metamorph fusion? Now, you don't really need to do a Potara fusion, because that'll last forever. So why not do something very briefly just to get your point across? Now, I know a lot of people might say, well, fusions aren't going to come back. Leave it alone. Let it die. Yeah, you're right. I mean, fusions may never come back. But if they keep referring to Goku and Vegeta as two separate beings that need to work as one, what better way to work as one than to have a fusion? Each characteristic would be channeled out with the opposite, person. Therefore having, one body, one mind, one power level to combat this one, entity. Although that'll be a very interesting fight to see, true Super Saiyan God Gogeta fight Beerus at full power, because, again, we really don't know what Beerus is capable of. We saw some really nice stuff that he performed in Battle of Gods and stuff like that. So, I mean, also in Revival of F, he sneezed, and he almost killed Goku. You know that, right? When he sneezed, that little power blast that whizzed right past him, even Goku said it. He was like, if that blast were to hit me, I would have died, no matter how strong I was. Because when Beerus was sleeping, he woke up frustrated, went back to sleep, and as he went back to sleep, when he sneezed, that power blast whizzed right past him, destroyed a planet, and Goku was shocked. He was like, if that were to hit me, I would have died. A sneeze, mind you. A sneeze.
Then that really brings the question as how strong Vegeta and Goku are. If they made Beerus use 70% of his power, and now that they've been training in their god status, imagine how strong they are.
But I don't think that would change anything, though, because Beerus would still look at them like, okay, alright, round 2. And then after he beats them, then what?
There have never been two people in DBZ history that have ever kept fighting besides Goku and Vegeta, who keep training and training. So
Again,
I think eventually they could win. They could beat Beerus.
What about you, Paul? What do you think of this? I mean, can you actually see this happening, or do you rather see something else happen?
I think Vegeta could beat Beerus, and something else could happen. But Vegeta, I think he won't revenge.
But he's too hard-headed. He can't fight properly.
Why?
He's too hard-headed. Whis pointed that out. He was like, every time you throw a punch at me, it doesn't connect because you're predetermining your hits.
And yet his ass still beat Frieza.
Well, in the end, who killed Frieza?
Well, that's cheating.
That was kind of a cheat. Yeah, it wasn't.
Goku showed up because Vegeta had him. Why didn't Vegeta get it done? Why?
Because he's the prince of all Saiyans.
Pride, man. Being too stubborn and hard-headed, like Whis said. Whis was like, you had him, you could have fucking killed him, but you chose to be an arrogant asshole. I'll send you back in time. This is your only chance. Obviously, Goku knew right off the bat. He was like, oh, shit. I just relived that. Like, why would I want to relive it again? So, again, I don't think... personally, for me, true Super Saiyan God or not, Goku would lose to Beerus. Vegeta would lose to Beerus. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. The only way they would win is to channel up equilibrium, fuse, have that moment to like gather up your consciousness and everything in order and use that to defeat him. If not, there's no way they can beat him
So you're
separately.
saying if they fused, they'd become the perfect warrior, and this time instead of having too much Goku or too much Vegeta,
it would balance out, and I think they would, especially with that true Super Saiyan godlike power. Oh man, they would be far advanced. They would definitely put him down from the count. Now I don't know about Whis. Again, Whis is a master. He's a master for a reason. I'm pretty sure he would. I'm pretty sure he would point out Gogeta's flaws too, if he trained with him. But for me, instead of seeing Goku and Vegeta versus Beerus one more time, I would rather see Goku and Vegeta versus the original Super Saiyan God.
I have to remember to check to see if the Super Saiyan God is still like he just vanished, right? They never said he died. They never said that they killed him.
He vanished, man. Shenron was like after his power gave out, he was gone.
Yeah, so like if he actually has like become a legit god, like he has a status, and like remember how we talked about the whole God Summit thing, that would be cool. Because if he's a Saiyan, he's just as arrogant.
How do you know that?
Goku had to hit his head before he became the nice guy we know today when he was a baby. Vegeta grew up as a Saiyan, and he was, we saw how he turned out.
But
and then
Vegeta grew up under Frieza's law.
Yeah, but before
Frieza made him
it was a
the
memory
way he
with
was.
him and his dad where he was like they were watching all the weaker Saiyans be sent off to weak planets where they'll be safe from their enemies, and Vegeta's like, bye weaklings, and he's like, that's a little arrogant shit right there.
No, he is, because he knows where he stands. Obviously, if you're in Vegeta's shoes, you would know where certain people stand. But again, it's like the way you guys are portraying Beerus, you guys are making it seem like Beerus can easily be defeated now that these two have like this newfound like power. But again, going back to what Sean said, you don't know if this guy has other transformations. How do we know that Beerus doesn't have more power that goes beyond 100%? You know, like he's a deity. Like how do you compare a deity? You can't.
Let's just look at it this way. Why is Akira Toriyama putting so much focus on all of them like getting so strong throughout all these movies? Why is the focus of them being trained if it's not to fight Beerus, a god?
But why would it to be fight him? What did Beerus ever do that they need to train to defeat him?
They just want to get stronger. Like Goku always wants to reach a new peak of power, and if he can beat a god, then that means like he's reached another point of power where he thought he couldn't go before. That's
okay,
and
then once again he's gonna reach that glass ceiling when he encounters another being who's vastly stronger than him. So that just means that there's going to be endless amounts of transformations, which is going to take away from the series. And in which case, I was pretty pissed off when I found out there was another transformation in Revival of F, because I was like, wait a minute. So you're telling me that there's another transformation that slightly exceeds Super Saiyan God? It's like, what's next? I mean, tell me right now, both of you, how far could you go? Like, we all know as human beings that, you know, the be-all, end-all of life is with the terminology that surrounds itself with God being infinite power, being infinite wisdom and knowledge. In Dragon Ball Z, if they have these godlike powers, how in the world can they go beyond that? What's beyond that? Nothing. It can't. There can't be nothing, can it?
Akira Toriyama. He'll create whatever he wants because he's a god himself. Who else could think of all this stuff?
But again, what goes beyond God? It would make no sense. They beat Beerus only to encounter someone else who's 10 times stronger, only for them to train more and reach a new level? Why?
That's how it is. That's Dragon Ball Z in a nutshell.
That is Dragon Ball Z in a nutshell.
It is, but why keep repeating that formula?
Because it works. People love Yakuza.
But they already took away Super Saiyan 2 and 3 because they were saying the power-up was unnecessary, but yet you want to include, you know, the godlike transformation and you want to, you know, just discredit its original, you know, transformation and whatnot from the first movie by adding another level. Like, why?
Man, this is Dragon Ball Z. This is not Naruto or Attack on Titan. One of the things about Dragon Ball Z is just about the action. We don't care if anybody dies because they can be reborn within the instant.
Yeah, the Dragon Balls are there. Whis can apparently turn back time. I
Turn
think
back
we're good
time.
on, like,
It's just
life.
about the fighting.
It's-
more power, more.
That's the one thing DBZ has that no other anime will ever have. The greatest fight sequences we could ever hope for. They just constant barrage, not people talking while they fight. It's just punch after punch after punch.
Which I think is pretty cool now because with the CGI getting better and whatnot. But
Yes, it's.
But I mean, the biggest question here is: do you think there's going to be another film?
Yes. There can't be. This just can't be the end. Just take.
Are you sure about that? Because man, he wanted to end it with Frieza. That was his guy.
Once ended with Frieza, the fans brought him back, and the money brought him back. I think they're doing the same thing now.
So money's the motive.
Money
And somewhat of the fans and his cat.
It's not
But
really
what
too much.
But what if he has the money?
He doesn't need the money, but everybody else that works under him, stockholders, they're gonna force it.
Yeah, I mean, like, he doesn't want to
And
put
what if
some
he
people out of a
refuses to
job.
do it? What if he refuses to do it?
They'll find a way to take the brand from him. They were making
Nah,
movies-
they're not gonna do that.
Dude,
stopped-
branding is such fucking bullshit with all
They
this
were making-
copyright stuff.
They were making uncanon movies even after he stopped drawing the manga. They can do it
That's
without
not true. What other movies did they
All right, so after 2003, movies came out. The History of Bardock.
Okay,
That's a
that
Super
one.
Saiyan.
Actually, no, a lot of people are gonna debate you on that one, but okay.
It's not well.
I think they
I
made.
mean, if you want to talk about canon, non-canon Super Saiyan Bardock movie, I mean,
Well, I mean, they still made movies nonetheless, and then they had the other one with Kid Goku Jr. They had the one with Tarble. All of those movies, Akira Toriyama stopped making the manga, you know, all that shit. How many years ago? And you were still putting out movies. They're gonna make movies regardless,
True.
with
that.
or without him.
DBZ is way too big of a brand for them. Like, they're just thinking about the money on this. They're not thinking about the fans and the story.
You know
that
how much money
we
they make
love.
off the action figures, the video games, the
Yeah.
movies. They have French fry holders with Goku's head on it.
Don't they have, like, Dragon Ball Z drinks?
Dragon Ball Z drinks
I would
so
buy
you're
one.
saying this is gonna go on?
the money.
The
It's
money?
everywhere.
All right,
The money.
I'm worried, man, because they can't go past the final episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, they'll find a way.
They'll find a way. They might just, like, completely, like, erase that from, like, history. They might remove
Oh,
every
you
single.
can't just do that, man.
They will remove every single episode like
That
that.
episode is about 20 years old. There's 20 years it's been here. You're not just removing that easily.
Apparently, there's a
guys,
lot of
just
young
forget
fans
that
out there that.
existed.
There's a lot of young fans out there who probably might not have even seen that episode. They'll be like, "Oh, it's okay. We just erase it from history."
We don't know this little brown boy.
Because
So-
the whole big issue here is if there was a third film, where in the world does it fit in the timeline? After Oob, before Oob, 10 years after Oob, it's like, where? Because, like, if you could find a good spot to fit this, I think then you'll have, like, infinite amount of, like, ideas to throw in there. So I think that's problem number one is finding out where this fits.
Or what they just did in that movie when he reversed time for 4 minutes, he altered the timeline.
Oh shit! Yes. Oh, that.
Oh
He
no!
did. He pulled the trunks. He pulled the trunks.
You're in a new timeline.
How? I mean, but he didn't really.
altering it. You just altered it in one of the biggest ways possible. You stopped the planet from exploding, nigga.
Yeah, dude. If it's going by DBZ logic, he's not creating like the same timeline with a new event. He's creating a whole new timeline.
You just saved the Earth.
Yeah, one of these timelines is where Goku fucked up and everything's destroyed with Frieza and Vegeta and everybody's gone, and the other one is now with the time reverse where Whis and everybody's still alive.
That's a very interesting subject that we're going to discuss in another video. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you guys go for, true Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta versus Beerus 2-on-1? I mean, because for me, I'd say as cool as that may be, it wouldn't work if they were separate because they will only end up getting beat down. But of course, I mean, let us know what you guys think, if this will be a good idea or a bad idea in the comment section below, along with your theories and discussions. We actually went back and read some of your comments in the previous video discussing, your theories and predictions and whatnot. And a lot of you guys have so many great ideas with the God Summit and the council with the gods going back and punishing Whis for you know, altering the timeline, and punishing Goku for having influence of being immortal, you know, relating himself with the gods and whatnot. So a lot of you guys had some great ideas. So let us know in the comment section below now on your ideas on the fact that, do you guys think Beerus should be the main star once again in having to fight Goku and Vegeta, or do you guys think there should be an entirely different plan for these two? Let us know in the comment section below. And once again, guys, thank you all for watching. This has been the FatalBrotherHood, UnrealEntGaming, and the FatalBrotherHood Gaming. If you guys are Dragon Ball Z fans, don't forget to subscribe for all the latest Dragon Ball Z news, information, updates, what if battles, Xenoverse, porno, everything that has to do with Dragon Ball Z is just on here. So if you guys want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments.
What was that third one?
French fries. And we hope you guys stay tuned for more, because the March of the New God series is coming, and I mean, there's so many possibilities here, but we want to know what you guys have to say. So once again, guys, thank you all for watching, and me and the other two Saiyans will be seeing you guys all in the next episode. Take it easy, guys.
Peace.
Peace.